Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Starting with dual Doppler 5000 radar, we've seen a few sprinkles, but about to see some heavier rain pushing into part of the viewing area. I'll show you what to expect.
And severe weather cleanup. This is Fairview Road in Raleigh, where a tree fell on a pickup truck. The lingering effects of our latest round of storms and flooding.
And HVAC solutions. School leaders in Wake County are working to ensure the AC stays on as the new school year gets started. How they're trying to avoid the problems of last year. You know, we talked about that being an issue, obviously closing school when the HVAC isn't working. So we're diving into how they hope to avoid that as you're joining us this morning on WRAL News and Fox 50. I'm Chris Levingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Yeah, much better right now than it was yesterday. Let me tell you, I was leaving a workout class yesterday. I looked like I took a shower by the time I got to my car because it
almost
was
melted.
Pouring, absolutely pouring. There is a chance for some more rain today, more falling near Sanford right now, Elizabeth.
That's right. We take a look here, and boy, your eyes really drawn to that. You can see the red shaded area. Some lightning and thunder with this as well. Go ahead and zoom in on this area, and you can see it's getting ready to move into Chatham County. It may just miss Sanford. It's probably going to clip Siler City and then continue to head east-northeast. So Pittsburgh, you're going to see this. It's not necessarily severe, but you'll definitely know it's coming. You'll hear the thunder and lightning, and you'll see the heavy rain that goes along with it. We're going to see more pockets of heavy rain the farther we get into the day today. At 1 to say 5 o'clock, we're going to be looking at about a 60% chance of rain, and we're likely to have some more pockets of heavy rain. 1 to 3 inches for parts of the viewing area. The entire viewing area under that flood risk. We also, because of all the rain that we saw yesterday, are dealing with some fog in some places. Southern Pines a little foggy this morning. Our highs this afternoon likely to be in the mid-80s. We'll be definitely dealing with some pockets of heavy rain. Tracking the tropics, tropical storm Erin, 45-mile-per-hour winds. Doesn't look quite as organized as it did yesterday, but still on track to move across the tropics here, moving across the Atlantic. Could be a hurricane by tomorrow evening. Still likely to become a major hurricane by the weekend. What sort of impacts would our beaches see this weekend? We'll take a look at that coming up. Ken?
Elizabeth, happening now, the splashes of green showing you where that wet road conditions are right now. Speaking of wet roads and the weather conditions, overnight we had a whole bunch of rain that fell, of course, bringing down the tree on Fairview Avenue. And that's where we find the WRAL breaking news tracker, Ali Cadlabar, Michael Joyner. Right now, they've been in the cleanup phase. What's happening right now, Ali?
Yes, Ken, and just within the past 5 minutes, we saw Raleigh Parks and Rec actually leave here. They reopened the road, Fairview Road here. It is now reopened, and you can see it, just the difference here. The sidewalk is now partially clear, but we actually just spoke with the renters here of this home where this tree fell over, and their cars are actually trapped underneath. They said that they are trapped in their homes. They cannot leave with their cars because they are trapped under all of those the trunks and branches. And we were just speaking with them. They heard a loud noise and they walked out and just saw a massive tree just covering their front yard as well as the road. And this is actually their landlord's car that had a lot of the damage. You can see that dent right there. This happened around 11 last night, and it's because of those downpours that happened yesterday. And so we're working to find out kind of what that cleanup process looks like. We know it's up to the homeowners to start that up, but they said that they're sending some pictures to their insurance companies right now, Ken.
Oh, an all-morning ordeal for those folks. Ali Cadlabar reporting. So listen, the other troubled spot we have right now is in Durham on I-885 and TW Alexander Drive. Depending on where you're coming from this morning, if you're coming, leaving Durham, you might want to take Highway 55 as an alternate route. If you're heading into Durham this morning, you happen to be on I-40, I would get off on Miami Boulevard to avoid the slowdowns that you're seeing there on I-885, because even though it looks like those lanes are moving along at a steady clip, this is just a camera at I-885 and TW Alexander Drive. You can see the delays that you're running into. So those alternate routes, Miami Boulevard, Highway 55, might help you out. You're looking at a 5-minute delay. If you're going into Durham this morning on I-885, the southbound lanes, you're looking at a 7-minute delay. In terms of other routes heading into the Bowl City, very little to no delays, which is really good news. Similarly, boy, things have really gotten tough on I-87 coming in from Smithfield this morning. definitely take that Smithville Road exit, work your way over to Pool Road, and then back to the Beltline to avoid the slowdowns that you're seeing right there on I-87. Our friends in Wake Forest are looking at a 7-minute delay coming in on US 1 and Capitol Boulevard. You're getting ready to head out the door because of these changing traffic conditions. We'll keep you updated on 101.5 HD3.
Now, this latest round of severe weather that we've been talking about, it happened when, not long ago, Tropical Depression Chantal caused damage in July. Beth Rivera captured this video from her office, and this was taken at the intersection of North Harrington and Johnston Street in downtown Raleigh.
I've been in that building for over 4 years now, and I've never seen that specific corner flooded before, so it was pretty shocking. I just went ahead and recorded it, and a lot of the cars were stopping and backing up and turning around.
And drivers, if you ever see flooding in roads, especially during severe weather, do not drive through it.
We are less than 2 weeks from the first day for Wake County schools, and today we'll get an update what's being done to make sure classrooms stay cool. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live from Vance Elementary in Wake County. And Kelsey, faulty HVAC units have forced dozens of schools to close on hot days in recent years.
Yes, Michelle, and Vance Elementary here is one of the several schools in Wake County that's been impacted by HVAC issues. This year-round school had to dismiss students early back in June for a day. The AC broke in the middle of the first heat wave of the summer. Wake County school leaders will get an update on HVAC maintenance today. More than 60 schools have been impacted by some type of HVAC issue. That's about 1/3 of all schools in the district. At times, students were stuck in the heat for most of the school day. That's because the HVAC system would break too late in the day for early dismissal. School leaders have been working to fix this problem.
They've doubled their HVAC maintenance budget. It was $20 million just 2 school years ago, and last year was $40 million. And the number is just slowly going up over the next few years.
We've checked in with the district to ask about the number of schools that have had to close because of HVAC issues last year. We're still waiting to hear back from them, but that data is scheduled to be released this afternoon when board members meet. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, I'm in Wake County.
The 2 people charged in the boat crash that killed a 10-year-old girl on Harris Lake earlier this month are now facing second-degree murder charges. The new charges were handed up by a grand jury yesterday. Quentin Kite and Anne Marie Flanagan were already facing several other charges in the death of 10-year-old Brooklyn Carroll, including felony death by impaired boating. The crash happened on August 2nd. Brooklyn was swimming when the boat hit her. Jennifer Staley was also severely hurt in that crash. WRAL spoke with a defense attorney not involved in the case, and he says these type of murder charges will require prosecutors to prove that Kite and Flanagan acted with malice.
Normally in something like this, it would either be a felony death or something like that. For it to be second-degree murder, the DA has seen something that he thinks rises above the typical accident, even an impaired driving accident.
Kite had a pending DWI charge in Moore County prior to the crash. If Kite and Flanagan are convicted of second-degree murder, they could each face 10 years or more in prison. Today, teachers in Wake County can get free supplies for their classrooms. It's part of Wake Ed's Tools for Schools partnership. It'll be held at Wake Ed's location on Capitol Boulevard from 1 to 4 p.m. today and Thursday. Last school year, the organization served more than 5,000 teachers. And happening this afternoon in Zebulon, the police department is hosting its own back-to-school drive. You can bring school supplies to the Walmart on East Gannon Avenue. That event will be from 2 to 7 p.m. And WRAL has you covered for the start of the new school year. Find out where to find the cheapest supplies, what to do if you're nervous about the first day, and so much more. It's on WRAL.com. Just search Back to School.
Today is day 2 of a passport fair in our viewing area, and these are events that are designed for you first-time passport holders to get a passport book and/or a passport card. Those are both Real ID compliant, and this fair is helpful if you can't get an appointment at the DMV for a Real ID for upcoming travel. A passport is an alternative. Today's fair will be held at Franklinton Elementary. That is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. You do need an appointment. Keep that in mind. Congressman Brad Knott is sponsoring that event. Your time is 8:09. Steel plant explosion. 2 people were killed and others are in critical condition. The work underway in Pennsylvania to figure out what caused that massive blast.
And a fiery crash. A plane loses control during its landing, smashing into others parked on the runway. The tense moments as crews rush to pull people to safety.
Storm with some lightning and heavy rain moving into Chatham County. I'll show you where it's headed next and who else could see some heavy rain later in the day. 8:12, and we have a thunderstorm that's developed just to our west, now starting to move into Chatham County. Some heavy rain with this, definitely some lightning. I wouldn't expect any severe wind with it, but boy, when it comes through your area, if it does, definitely lightning with this and some heavy rain. We're going to see more heavy rain as we head into the afternoon. It's a 60% chance. And, you know, yesterday it was patchy. We saw it in a few places. One of those places just happened to be downtown Raleigh. And we're going to see the same thing. Not everybody will see heavy rain, but somebody will. This is a look at Southern Pines, where there's still a little lingering fog, but we'll start to see that lifting. Temperatures will climb into the mid-80s for later on this afternoon, but of course there'll be some heavy rain at times. We'll take a look at what some of our totals could look like coming up. Ken?
Elizabeth, happening now, boy, traffic has definitely picked up on I-87. You're coming in from Nidale this morning. Those are the southbound lanes coming, moving away from us this morning. It's a situation where there were double digits delay times. Here's what it looks like on our live traffic map this morning. You can see the huge delays from the I-440, I-87 interchange all the way back to the I-540 interchange. So if you're getting ready to head out the door, you're leaving Zebulon this morning, if you're leaving Nightdale, just know that you can exit on Smithfield Road, work your way to Pool Road, and then back on the Beltline.
All right, thank you, Ken. A second person has died after an explosion at a steel plant in Pennsylvania. Authorities say a person who was missing after the blast has been confirmed dead. This happened at the U.S. Steel Coke Works plant near Pittsburgh. At least 10 people were taken to the hospital. 5 are still in critical condition this morning. Officials say the attention is now turning to what caused that explosion.
There's lots to be investigated, validate everything that occurred here. And our crews will continue to be here assisting U.S. Steel in that process of reviewing what occurred.
And this plant is one of the largest coke manufacturing facilities in the country.
Near a lot of businesses, and a lot of them felt it once that explosion happened. 4 people walked away from a fiery plane crash in Montana. The pilot and 3 passengers escaped serious injury in this. What you're seeing here is video showing the aftermath from that crash at the Kalispell City Airport. The small plane was attempting to land, and that's when it crashed into several other planes on the runway. And that caused them to burst into flames. Kalispell police confirmed there were only minor injuries and the fire didn't spread too far. Several people working at a nearby coffee shop saw the entire thing.
It's very miraculous that everybody was able to get off safely and no serious injuries were involved.
We feel like it's just kind of a rare thing that was unfortunate, and we're just so happy that everyone's okay.
The other planes were empty, and an early investigation showed the pilot of the plane that crashed lost control. The FAA and NTSB will conduct a more in-depth investigation to determine what went wrong.
You have to see this. A massive lightning strike was caught on camera near Charleston, South Carolina. My goodness, look at that. A police officer caught this massive lightning strike and fireball on his dash cam. The strike hit a utility pole. It caused a giant explosion, knocking out power to the whole area. Nobody was hurt, but those roads were shut down for hours.
Jeff Hogan at the WRAL Live Center. Tennis star Monica Seles has just revealed she has an autoimmune disease. I want to show you exactly what she's talking about here. It's a technical term here, myasthenia gravis. And she just recently, in an interview when she was hitting balls, just like she's done all her life, swinging a racket, just talked about recent neuromuscular autoimmune disease that she has contracted. A career that's included Grand Slam titles, a place in the International Hall of Fame for her. She said she was just hitting some balls with some kids and family members, and every once in a while she would just miss a ball. And she realized she was seeing 2 balls at one point, and then she thought we better look into this a little further. The National Institute of Neurological Disorders calls it a chronic neuromuscular disease that causes weakness in the involuntary and voluntary muscles, most commonly affecting young adult women under the age of 40. or older men over the age of 50. So she doesn't fit either category. She is 51.
Well, unfortunate either way. Thank you, Jeff. Storm names cycle through every 6 years. That's why you may have heard the name Erin before. In fact, meteorologist Chris Michaels will show us when a previous Erin formed and what was happening on that tragic day in a nation's history when that storm formed.
Yes, Hurricane Erin was actually off the East Coast on 9/11. We'll talk about how that played a role in that very tragic day. Now, these storm names, they're picked out every 6 years by the World Meteorological Organization. Storm names get retired if the storm is especially damaging, right? So we'll never have Helene or Katrina or Michael again. Most notable, Erin was on September the 11th. Now, these tropical systems, they have 4 different corners to them. The southwestern corner is usually dry and breezy, and we can look toward just kind of an estimated position of where that Hurricane Erin was on September the 11th. And it was off the East Coast, so we were on the west side of it. And you may remember, whether you were in New York or Washington, D.C., Pennsylvania, even here, you had a whole lot of sunshine that morning, and it's because of that hurricane that was offshore. Now, in terms of storm names this year, we're forecasting 13 to 15 named storms. That would take us through Melissa, Nestor, and Olga in the 2025 list.
All right, thanks for that breakdown, Chris. Washington Mayor Muriel Bowser says that President Donald Trump's decision to put D.C. police force under federal control is, quote, unsettling. Trump claims D.C. is seeing rampant crime and violence. The numbers actually show crime in Washington is at a 30-year low. The law gives the president the power to take control of the city's police force for 48 hours if he decides there is an emergency. He can retain control of the department for a longer time if he notifies certain lawmakers in Congress.
A man is dead. A woman is in the hospital this morning after a shooting in Durham. It happened around 3 p.m. yesterday at the Camden Point Apartments. That's on East Knox Street. Officers say the woman's injuries are life-threatening. Police do not believe there is danger to the public. An owl is back in the wild after people rescued it from the grill of a car. This happened in Wilmington. Look at that little guy. The group Skywatch Bird Rescue helped remove that owl safely. The owl was exhausted and did have some injuries, but that did not affect its ability to fly.
Oh, goodness. Animal rescue videos hit me right in the feels every time. Taking a look outside here at Carr Lake, it's looking kind of gloomy out there. Some overcast skies. Kind of a precursor to what we could see later today there, Elizabeth?
That's right. Definitely going to have that potential as we get through the afternoon to see some more heavy rain. Our tropical update begins, of course, with Erin, as Chris was talking about. It formed on Monday, thousands of miles away from the United States. It will be moving into the North Caribbean this weekend. It's likely to take a curve around to the north, maybe around Bermuda. And we'll talk more about that in just a minute. But let's take a look at it first. It's still off the coast of Africa, just about 700 miles off the Cabo Verde Islands, moving west at 22 miles per hour. Doesn't look as organized as it did yesterday, but still has winds at 45 miles per hour. Still forecast to become a hurricane by late tomorrow. It could become not only our first hurricane, but our first major hurricane of the season. This Category 3 is going to be 2 a.m. on Sunday. So this is going to be the weekend, and it's way out here north of the Leeward Islands, also hundreds and hundreds of miles away from the United States over the weekend. So this is not going to be something that affects our coastline this weekend. But here's what's likely to happen with it going forward. This high pressure system will begin to steer it. It's continuing to steer it to the west, but it will likely then steer it around the high, but it may need a little bit of help. It may need a trough or a cold front to help kick it away from the United States. Right now, that looks pretty likely. The timing on that has to be just right. So it's not a given, but it's certainly a possibility. You can see these versions of our hurricane models start to turn it on Tuesday. And if it continues along that curve, it would stay off the coast of the United States. That's our hope, and it's something that we'll be watching, obviously, very closely. This weekend, if you have beach plans, no worries. It'll be well off the coast. Now, Monday and Tuesday, we might see some rip current danger. If we're going to have any impacts along our coast, it would probably be Wednesday to Thursday. But again, at this point, it doesn't look like that we would have any major problems. That could change, so stay tuned. Right now, we're looking at some heavy rain and a thunderstorm getting ready to move into Siler City, headed for Pittsburgh. We're going to have some heavy rain with this, and then that batch will continue to move eastward. As we get closer to lunchtime, it spreads across much of the southern part of our viewing area, but we could see heavy heavy rain in any part of the area today, just like we did yesterday. That heavy rainfall is certainly a good possibility. Our temperatures will turn hotter once we get into the end of the week and into the weekend, and just be ready for that, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL traffic center. A couple of things I want to bring your attention to, starting with this crash on I-885 in the northbound lanes on TW Alexander Drive going into Durham this morning. Here's what it looks like. These are the northbound lanes going in. We can't see the crash on this camera, but just know when that red shows up, there is quite a bit of delay going into Durham. Here's what we're looking at. Just a 6-minute delay if you're going into Durham. Now, if you're using I-885 to get to I-40, you're looking at a 12-minute delay. Depending on where you are, you might just want to use Highway 70 as an alternate route to come into the capital city. Now, things are definitely beginning to ease up a little bit on I-87 coming in from Knightdale this morning. At one point, we were looking at bumper-to-bumper traffic coming in. So right now, just a 5-minute delay coming in from Knightdale, a 7-minute delay if you're our friends in Wake Forest coming in on US 1 and Capitol Boulevard.
Time is 8:23. Protecting kids. New safety standards are coming for car seats. Five on Your Side examines what's changing and how the seat you have now may stack up.
And food stamp cuts. Millions of Americans could lose benefits under the new federal spending plan. How the number of hours people work will factor into their eligibility.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning and happy Tuesday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. Elizabeth Gardner tracking some showers over by Sanford right now.
Yeah, take a look at this. Dual Doppler 5000 radar earlier was just showing some light showers in our western counties, and now we have a thunderstorm that is moving across Siler City, headed toward Pittsboro. So if you're in that area, you're going to have some heavy rain to deal with. That's likely to continue to hold together and track towards Chapel Hill, Durham, and Raleigh. So we'll keep watching that. It's not likely to be severe, but some heavy rain for sure. That chance of heavy rain goes up to 60% as we head through the afternoon, and it is another flood risk, a low end flood risk for isolated 1 to 3 inch totals. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, the splashes of green shows you where the wet road conditions are right now. But the one thing I want to bring your attention to is that crash on I-885 in Durham. It's causing quite a bit of a delay this morning into Durham. It's near TW Alexander Drive. You can't see the crash on this live cam network, but you can see the traffic that it's causing in both directions, actually, there on I-885. So as we give you a look at those drive times, here's what you're looking at. 8 minutes if you're going into Durham this morning. You're looking at a 13-minute delay if you're heading out of Durham on I-885.
All right, thank you, Ken. This morning, part of Fairview Road near 5 Points is closed as crews finished cleaning up a tree that fell overnight during storms. It blocked the road and fell onto a pickup truck. Crews used cranes and chainsaws to clear all of the branches and debris. And a man is dead. A woman is in the hospital this morning after a shooting in Durham. It happened around yesterday at the Camden Point Apartments on East Knox Street. Officers say the woman's injuries are life-threatening. Next on Fox 50, cooling the classrooms, how leaders are working to make sure Wake County schools have working air conditioning this year. And ahead on today, how pickles are having their own moment right now.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Right now at 8:30, a tree crushes a pickup truck. Crews spent the morning removing a tree that fell during overnight storms. We're hearing from the people who live inside the home where that tree fell.
And more storms on the way today. As a matter of fact, I'm tracking one moving through Chatham County right now. I'll show you what to expect from that one and what to expect this afternoon.
And keeping classrooms cool. We're quickly approaching the first day of school in Wake County. What we're expected to learn today about efforts to ensure HVAC systems are up and running. Got to make sure our kids are in cool classrooms. Yeah. We'll be watching that story as it develops. Thanks for joining us this morning on WRAL News on Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. All right, let's get right back over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, because she is tracking that storm cell right now over Sanford.
So we'll take a look here at what's going on. We've had a few isolated showers in our western counties all the way up to the Triad, but nothing significant. Flanagan, until this one just started to move into Chatham County. So it's moving over Siler City. It's headed toward Pittsboro. And because of its size, it does look like it'll hold together. So it could affect parts of Wake County as well as Orange County and Durham County. It's just some heavy rain. I say just heavy rain, but boy, we know what that's done for us lately. Not likely to have severe winds out of this, but there's definitely lightning with it. So continue to check in with us right before you head out the door. We'll let you know what's going on out there. A better chance for storms this afternoon. It jumps up to 60%. And we do still have that low end flood risk like we did yesterday. We'll have isolated 1 to 3 inch rainfall totals, and that cell that's moving into Chatham County likely to dump some rain. We do have some wet conditions here in Sanford. It may, for the most part, just end up to the north of Sanford, but we're watching that closely. 85 degrees, our high temperature this afternoon. Taking a look at the tropics, checking in with Aaron, moving to the west at 22 miles per hour, still on track to cross the Atlantic and become a hurricane by tomorrow evening, possibly reaching a Category 3 major hurricane by the weekend. I'll show you what could happen after that. Coming up, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. A few ice incidents out on a live traffic map this morning, but this is the crash that we really want to bring attention to. I-885 at TW Alexander Drive in the northbound lanes. You can't see the crash on this camera, but you can see the slowdown that it's causing there on I-885. If you take a look at the drive times right now, you're looking at a 9-minute delay if you're going into Durham this morning. If you're using I-885 to get to I-40, you're looking at an 11-minute delay. Depending on where you are, if you're leaving, you might take Highway 55, you're going into Durham. On I-40, you might want to take Miami Boulevard as an alternate route. Traffic is definitely easing up a little bit on I-87 coming in from Knightdale this morning. It was up to triple digits a little while ago, but you can see traffic is moving along rather nicely. Just a 2-minute delay if you're coming in from Knightdale. You're looking at a 9-minute delay out Fins and Wake Forest on US 1 and Capitol Boulevard. Over in Durham, very little to no delays on many of those major routes. It's about a 5-minute delay on that southern loop of the Beltline heading into the Bull City. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio. As always, we keep you updated on 101.5 HD3.
Part of Fairview Road near Raleigh's 5 Points is back open after teams removed a tree that fell in the road overnight and it crushed a pickup truck. Let's bring in Allie Cadlebar. She is there in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Allie, I still see plenty of debris out there, and you even talked to some people.
Yes, we just spoke with the people who live in this house behind me, and they were just able to climb out of their home and over the fence just about 30 minutes ago, and they were inspecting the cars that are buried underneath these trees, these limbs and branches here. There are actually 2 cars in there. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker around 11:30 last night. The renters of this home say that they heard a loud noise around 11 p.m. It was after all of those downpours last night. A tree covered the road here. We saw crews clean up the road and sidewalks for several hours. Cy Graham, who lives at this home, says they can't leave because of the debris covering their cars.
Are currently trapped inside of our house, and we have no idea how and when we'll be able to get out. So
probably today.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully today. They are in contact with their insurance, and the homeowners here, they're going to have to come and get tree removal to come out here. Their landlord's truck is actually totaled, so they have a lot of cleanup underway today. We're going to keep you guys updated. Reporting in Raleigh, Allie Cadlebar, WRAL News.
The first day of school for Wake County students is just under 13 days away, and today we'll get an update on work to make sure the air conditioning is working properly when those kids get into the classroom. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is outside Vance Elementary School, one of the schools that has had many problems with its AC during hot weather.
Vance Elementary here is just one of several Wake County schools that's had HVAC issues. This year-round school had to dismiss students early on a day back in June because the AC stopped working in the middle of the first heat wave of the summer. Wake school leaders will meet today for an update on HVAC maintenance. More than 60 schools have been impacted by some type of HVAC issue. That's about 1/3 of all schools in the district. At times, students were stuck in the heat for most of the school day. That's because the HVAC system would break too late in the day for early dismissal. School leaders have been working to fix this problem.
They've doubled their HVAC maintenance budget. It was $20 million just 2 school years ago, and Last year was $40 million, and that number is just slowly going up over the next few years.
We've asked the district for the number of schools that had to close because of HVAC issues last year. We're still waiting to hear back from them on that, but that data is scheduled to be released later this afternoon when school board members are supposed to meet. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Wake County.
Happening right now, Wake County schools are holding their annual School Resource Officer Summit. Authorities and school leaders are essentially discussing the Rave Panic Button app, and they'll also talk about law enforcement's role in behavioral threat assessments. People who attend this will also attend these breakout sessions to explore responses to bomb threats.
The two people facing charges in the boating crash that killed a 10-year-old girl on Harris Lake are now facing murder charges. A grand jury indicted Quentin Kite and Anne Marie Flanagan yesterday. The crash happened on August 2nd. 10-year-old Brooklyn Carroll died. Another woman, Jennifer Staley, was seriously injured. WRAL spoke with Durham defense attorney Daniel Meyer, who is not involved in the case. He says murder charges require prosecutors to prove that Kite and Flanagan acted with, quote, malice.
Normally in something like this, it would either be a felony death or something like that. For it to be second-degree murder, the DA has seen something that he thinks rises above the typical accident, even an impaired driving accident.
Kite is also facing DWI charges in this crash. Flanagan is facing similar charges for allowing Kite to operate her boat under the influence. Meyer says that if they are convicted, they could each face more than 10 years in prison. And the Carroll family weighed in on the new murder charges, writing in a statement, "We extend our sincere thanks to law enforcement officials and the district attorney's office who have been diligently working on her case."
Tropical storm Erin killed at least 6 people on the island nation of Cape Verde. That's off the West African coast. The storm brought heavy rain, thunderstorms, and intense lightning. Local authorities say 4 children are among the people who died. Forecasters expect this storm to become the first hurricane of the 2025 Atlantic season. And this is a good reminder that the newly redesigned WRAL app is a great way to track rain and storms locally and in the tropics. The app is free to download, but be sure to turn on push notifications, and that way you can get the latest weather updates.
President Trump says he plans to nominate economist E.J. Antoni to be the next commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. He has been a longtime critic of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Trump fired former Commissioner Erica McEnteffer earlier this month after a weaker than expected jobs report.
The massive sinkhole in Apex will be here for a while. The DOT won't be ready to announce a timeline for the project until next month. Heavy rain poured down on Olive Chapel Road last week, and the DOT says an aging pipe under the cement failed. That created a sinkhole that caused the road to collapse. Teams will have to relocate a water line and acquire additional right-of-way to fix this. Apex Mayor Jacques Gilbert is urging people to figure out a long-term alternate route.
Even miracles here at the town of Apex, so it would be a great miracle to get this reopened as soon as possible. So hopefully that'll happen.
The DOT says the replacement will be stronger with a larger culvert, and the goal is to prevent something like this from happening again.
New this morning, President Donald Trump has agreed to once again delay the deadline for China's tariff deadline by another 90 days. Trump signed the executive order just hours before the pause was set to expire at midnight. The new deadline is now set for November 10th. China has said it will adopt and maintain all necessary measures to suspend or remove non-tariff measures. And more than 2 million Americans could lose food stamps benefits due to work requirements. That's according to the Congressional Budget Office analysis released yesterday. The law requires some parents to work for their food stamps benefits for the first time. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, has long required certain adults to work to receive benefits for longer than 3 months. However, President Trump's big, beautiful bill now requires those kids with 14 and older to work at least 80 hours per month. Time now is 8:40. Tougher car seats. New regulations aim to keep your children safer. 5 on Your Side looks at how a new test will help protect your children.
Plus, not your standard training. Law enforcement is working on how to respond better to school emergencies. New equipment one county is rolling out for use during dangerous situations.
And before we go to break, we'll take you live out over downtown Cary Park. We are looking dry for your morning commute, but we do have another chance for showers and storms today. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is tracking the timing of those showers.
8:44, taking a look at dual Doppler 5000 radar. We have a thunderstorm that's moving across Chatham County right now. Some heavy rain associated with it. Fortunately, it looks like it's beginning to weaken just a little bit because really nobody needs any more rain. But it is moving toward Pittsboro and may hold together all the way to Wake County, Orange County, Durham County. Definitely some lightning and some heavy rain with this, and there is more of that to come. It's a 50% chance at lunchtime and a 60% chance later this afternoon, with similar setup potentially to what we saw yesterday with some pockets of very heavy rain. Here's a look at Sanford. Sanford's a little wet out there this morning. We're going to see mainly dry conditions for it this morning. If you're headed out the door for some exercise, just note that our chance for rain goes up through the afternoon. Ken?
Happening now in the WRAL traffic center, Elizabeth. We're staying on top of that situation in Durham. I-885 to be exact. It's probably in the clearing phase, I-885 in the northbound lanes, but we're seeing heavy traffic in both directions heading in and out of Durham on I-885 this morning. So you've got a couple of options. If you're leaving Durham, Highway 55 might be an alternate route. If you're heading into Durham on I-40, you might want to get off on Miami Boulevard, because right now you look at a 6-minute delay. If you're going into Durham, you're looking at a 7-minute delay if you're using I-885 to get to I-40.
And back here in the WRAL Live Center right now, the brand new numbers are out. Highly anticipated Consumer Price Index report just released, and it was expected to be at 2.8%. So I'm going to give you some of the headlines here. Consumer price rises 2.7% annually. That's CNBC. Wall Street Journal says inflation stays 2.7% in June. Another business report here didn't rise as much as expected in July. So this left the markets relatively calm leading into these numbers here right now. But I want to show you what happened in the last 10 minutes or so just after this was announced. It rallied 200 points. So this is the first major release from the Bureau of Labor Statistics since President Trump fired its head last week. And the money markets I'm following show the traders are confident the central bank will cut borrowing costs next month. We'll see what the Federal Reserve decides, because I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to give you the updated right there. Dow Jones, the implied open, right about 250 in positive territory.
And that high anticipated producer price index is slated out in a couple of days. Thank you, Jeff. Tougher safety rules are on the way for car seats, focusing on dangerous side impact crashes. And the goal, better crash protection for your little one. 5 on your side's Keely Arthur shares what
More than 1,000 children die in car accidents every year. That's according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. And for years, manufacturers have been talking about making improvements to side impacts. But there's been no industry standard until 2025.
Previously, the car seat regulations were only looking at frontal impact protection, but now they've been updated to also focus on side impact protection, which is great because we know that there is a high risk of injury and fatality with side impact crashes.
Just when the new regulation will take effect is still being decided, but will likely happen this year. And there's good news for parents. The new regulation doesn't mean you need a new car seat. Your current car seat is already tested to a tough standard and will keep your child safe. Consumer Reports conducts independent crash testing for car seats that goes far beyond the federal standard. 5 on your side always wants you to have the most effective products in your home. Consumer Reports has a list of their top car seat picks. We have those up on our website, WRAL.com. In Raleigh, Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
There's a new tool to protect Nash County school resource officers. The sheriff says ballistic shields will allow for a more efficient response and therefore keep students safer. SROs also went through training with students with autism. They partnered with the SBI for behavioral threat assessment training. Nash County is the only district we found in our area using the shields for safety. Well, a very big announcement from Taylor Swift, and soccer superstar is now engaged.
Time for a look at what's trending. So Swifties are getting excited because Taylor Swift is announcing that there's a release of a new album pending. The announcement came early this morning, and we know it will be called The Life of a Showgirl. There are not a lot of details just yet, but we are expected to learn more in today's new episode of the New Heights podcast that is hosted by Travis and Jason Kelsey. What is interesting is that just back in May, you may recall that Taylor announced that she bought back the rights to like her albums, her film concerts, her photography. So this is, I don't know, it's kind of cool to see another thing that she will be able to own in its entirety.
She's a mega superstar. Yeah, powerhouse. All right. Also this morning, soccer superstar Cristiano Ronaldo getting married. You can see this rock from space. His now fiancee, model Georgina Rodriguez, posted a picture of the ring on Instagram with the caption, "Yes, I do, in this and in all my lives." The couple already has multiple children together. I think I read that it's 30 carats.
Goodness gracious.
Your hand is like a paperweight. That's crazy. It's
I mean, you
beautiful.
need like a forklift, just like keep it
yeah, right, exactly. Well, congratulations to the happy couple. Also today in entertainment news, stories from a legendary director and 2 movies with green heroes.
Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
Marty was very upset. I get a call at the office and it says, Steve, it's Marty. It's Marty, Steve. Yeah, can you come over to the house?
The stories he wanted to kill the head of the studio.
You had a gun?
I was going to get one.
Martin Scorsese recalls his frustrations with the studio and the MPAA over Taxi Driver in the first clip from Mr. Scorsese. The 5-part documentary about the iconic filmmaker premieres October 17th on Apple TV+.
Fiona.
What's happening? Shrek 5 is on the move again. The follow-up to 2010's Shrek Forever After, billed at the time as the franchise's final chapter, was originally set to hit theaters in July of 2026. That changed to December 2026. Now Universal has scooted it back to summer again, June 30th, 2027. Lean, green, and back on the screen. The 1990 live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is returning to theaters for its 35th anniversary, August 15th through the 21st. More info and showtimes at fathomentertainment.com. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right, swinging over to weather. It's quiet here at the WRAL studios, but over in Sanford, Elizabeth, a little activity there.
Yeah, we've got this band of thunderstorms that's starting to move into some of our western counties here. Notice also down around Fayetteville, a couple of scattered showers there. So this is going to continue to slowly build across our area, really peaking as we get through the afternoon. It's right here in Chatham County, so Siler City, just north of Sanford, sort of starting to dip into Lee County now. Pittsburgh, you're right in line for this. So you're going to have some brief heavy rain with this. This is not likely to cause any flooding, but there's been some lightning with this. As it moves eastward, it's likely to weaken somewhat, but may hold together and bring us some rain into Wake County, Orange County, and Durham County here in the next hour or so. This is a look at how the rain ended up yesterday. We had plenty of counties that saw very little rain yesterday, but definitely some pockets where it was heavy. The heaviest was southwest of Warrenton, in that line between, say, Oxford and Warrenton, almost 5 inches of rain. Around Wake County, we had a pocket of 3 inches, and that was mainly right through downtown, where we ended up with a good bit of flooding. Almost 3 inches south of Lillington and Fayetteville, another one south of Wilson. But what we'll see today is, again, those patches, some areas where we see some heavy rain. Not everyone will see it, but where we do see it, it's likely to cause some flooding. Our ground is saturated in many places. Our air mass is saturated, so it has a lot of moisture in it. As these showers start, they're going to have some heavy downpours associated with them. So we do have that flood risk across the viewing area again today for some isolated 1 to 3 inch totals. Why is this happening? We have a high pressure system sitting to our east. That is helping to push all this tropical moisture into our area. That begins to slow down a little bit over the weekend. Temperatures will climb and some of this tropical moisture flow will begin to shut off. But in the meantime, over the next few days, we could see some widespread 1 to 2 inch rainfall totals. But again, that would be a total over several days. A look at Durham, gray skies, 74 degrees, dew point 73. So it feels tropical out there, and our temperatures will likely climb into the mid 80s for highs this afternoon. Now, once we get past today and tomorrow, we are looking at the heat index feeling uncomfortable again, like 101 on Friday, 100 Saturday, could be triple digits again on Sunday. So it's been cool to start this month, but it's not going to stay that way. Definitely seeing the tropics heating up. There's a look at Aaron, looking a little bit ragged, but still with winds at 45 miles per hour. moving west at 22 miles per hour, and it will continue to trek across the Atlantic, possibly becoming a major hurricane by the time we get to the weekend, but still well offshore of the United States. There are those 90s, a whole string of them in our 7-day forecast.